So our next task is to add a score instance variable to the paddle class and then print the left paddle score to the screen. And so if we look up here in the paddle class, we could see we have width, height, speed, image, and rect. But each paddle that's created from the paddle class also needs to have a score, so that we can, tell who won, because we're gonna eventually have it set up where the paddle who causes the opposite paddle to lose the ball 3 times wins, right? So what we can do is just jump in here and just say self.score. We're going to initialize it to a value, and each score should be 0 when we start the game, so we're going to set it equal to 0. And now when we're over here in our game loop, or I guess we could do it before a game loop, right after we make our paddle object. So we make our paddle object here, and then just to prove that that score instance variable is available for us to use, we're going to say print paddle.score, and then what we should see is 0 printed out here in the console of PyCharm, and it is, right? Okay, great. But what you'll also notice is that when the ball goes off the screen, the score is not going to be incremented, right? And we can prove that by dropping this print left paddle score into the game loop here, and it's at 0, 0, 0, 0, it goes off the screen, and the score is still at 0, right? So we need to go ahead and fix that, but we'll do that in a future lesson. For now, what we want is we want to print the contents of the left paddle score onto the screen right here as well, right? So the way we're going to do that is the same way that we did our title, right? We need to create a text object, create his surface, get his rect, place him on the screen in the game loop when we want it to be placed on the screen. So we'll start up here at the top of the game, and I guess we want it to be a little bit smaller, so we'll use this font too, and I'll say, maybe I could just copy this here and then come here. This will be left_score. Yes, left_score. Font 2 is what we're going to be using, so we're going to use this type of font and this font size. In here, what we want printed to the screen would be the score variable, instance variable of the left paddle. So we're going to say left_paddle.score. And no, it's not left paddle. Oh, okay, so we need to do this after the left paddle is created, so we're gonna grab that, put it here, and okay, and then we're going to put left score here, and then we're going to say left_score_rect there, left_score_rect there, and there, and there. And okay, so then that creates the scores like font object that we can place on the screen. The surface is here and the rect is here, and now we just need to blit it on the screen. So then we're going to do that here in our game loop. We don't want to do it here in the intro loop because we don't want the score displayed during the intro portion of the game, but we do want it displayed during the game portion of the game, and that's happening in this play loop. So then if we come here to the bottom where we're blitting everything to the screen, we can just go ahead and come on down here and say screen.blit, and of course blit takes a surface as the first argument, it takes a rect as the second argument, so we can say left score comma left score rect, and that should print it onto the screen. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, so we have an error here. Okay, so then the error that's happening is that the text must be a string, right? And what we're passing to render here is an integer, right? Because it's the score instance variable of left paddle, which is an integer, it's a number. So we need to typecast it as a string. So I'm going to do that, and I will play. And so we got our score, right? But we need to position it in the right location up here, which means that when we set up our left scores rect, we need to set it up so that the X position and the Y position have the score right here, I guess like a quarter of the way across the screen, right? And then the right player score will be 3/4 away across the screen and up here at the top portion. But I'll let you go ahead and do that, and yeah, that's how we get our score printed on the screen.